The crisis is that this is what is profitable now. This clickbait, this type of racial incitement is profitable on the internet. And, you know, I'm sitting here, I'm listening to Pearl. I don't know if she's just plain stupid or she's actually quite intelligent and knows that what she's doing is so sensational that it's going to make her a lot of money. But I want to say one thing. Pearl will disappear. She will disappear like many others before her because this is something that's just a moment in time. She's like a train wreck. It's like a car crash. You know, for example, you know you shouldn't be looking at it, but you can't take your eyes off it. But
all right, guys, so we got to react to this pretty fascinating interview here between Piers Morgan and JustPearlyThings, or Pearl Davis, or Pearl, right? I feel like she has rebranded herself so many different times. But Piers Morgan here is going to remind me why I kind of have a love-hate relationship with him, okay? I do like his show, okay? And I think his show is pretty entertaining. However, when it comes to certain subjects, I'm always reminded that the guy is still an establishment talking head, okay? I watched this show with Jackson Hinkle, right, in regards to the debate on Ukraine, okay? And I can't lie to you. I was pretty disappointed with Piers, right? But again, I can't be surprised because, again, the guy is establishment. And he's going to show us why in this interview right here with JustPearlyThings, where he is basically going to censor her on a show that's supposed to be uncensored, right? Which, again, is the hilarious part because he doesn't like the fact that Pearl made a song about censorship. I mean, I think clearly the song in and of itself is not a hateful song. It's just a song basically questioning censorship when it comes to talking about, you know, certain groups of people who you really can't talk about without facing, you know, a lot of punishment for it, right? So I actually want to go ahead and react to it because it is pretty fascinating. And it does kind of expose Piers as, once again, an establishment talking head who, you know, every now and then when it comes to certain woke topics like, you know, gender, he makes sense. But when it comes to this type of stuff, like censorship, he's definitely missing the mark. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Welcome back to Piers Morgan Uncensored. Pearl Davis is the self-styled anti-feminist influencer who's creating major buzz online with a contrarian view. She's appeared in a couple of debates on this show. It's called Uncensored after all. We welcome any honestly held opinions. But this week, she's facing a major backlash by posting a song titled Why Can't We Talk About the Jews, which she dedicated to far-right commentator Nick Fuentes before later deleting it.
So I don't know what's up with JustPearlyThings on her face here, but she seems shocked by Pierce's like introduction of her and how he's characterizing this song.
Why can't we talk about without getting kicked off of YouTube? Now, I'm not saying Hitler was a good guy, but I kinda wanna know why. Now there's all these conspiracy theories, and the more they talk, I think maybe they're right. But I can't even listen to the convo.
Well, Pearl joins me now, along with the New York author and founder of End Jew Hatred, Brooke Goldstein, over in the States. All right, Pearl, you've come on the show a couple of times, right? We've had some spirited debates about feminism and stuff like that, and I thought you've made some good points, and it's got lots of traction. Then I wake up the other day and I see this thing that's trending involving you doing this song. And I couldn't really believe what I was watching. I didn't know, why did you find it funny?
Huh?
Did you find it funny? I mean, you know the backlash to it. I mean, you deleted it. You obviously thought you shouldn't have posted it. Mm-hmm. Why did you do that? Genuine question.
I mean, the point was more about cancel culture and people getting kicked off of social media if you finish the song. It was more about, like, you can't talk about this topic without being canceled by the left and the right. I don't really have a strong opinion either way. It was kind of just like tongue-in-cheek. I didn't.
Yeah, it was kind of satirical, right? It was just a satirical song. And again, I think people take this stuff too serious, but it does bring up a very valid point about how when it comes to certain topics on social media, you can't talk about it. And, you know, again, the funny part about it, which I believe she also kind of makes this point in the song as well, too, is that because you can't talk about it, it makes people believe the conspiracies that big tech doesn't want you to believe even more than you would believe it if you can openly talk about it, right? And that's why open discussion is so important, because if you can openly discuss something, then you can openly debunk it, right? But if you can't openly discuss it, it's hard to openly debunk something that you can't openly discuss, okay? And that's why I think that censorship, when it comes to most topics, you know, outside of, you know, calls to violence, like direct calls to violence, is silly and counterproductive.
Really expect it to get that crazy. It wasn't dedicated to anyone. I don't know why they say that, but that's not true.
I mean, Nick Fuentes is a white supremacist. He's a Holocaust denier. He said afterwards that you had dropped a diss track on the Jews, which he clearly took to be something which was, you know, mocking Jewish people. Talking about, I'm not saying Hitler was a good guy, but I want to know why. What do you want to know why?
Well, it was more like, why can't we talk about it? It wasn't like
you talked about the more conspiracy
other.
Theories you've heard about Hitler and the Holocaust, presumably.
I'm a fan of conspiracy theory. Like, you know.
Facts. I am too. Now, I'm not a conspiracy guy in the sense that, you know, I necessarily believe all conspiracies, right? But I do like to listen and to think about it and to consider it. Okay, I mean, most of them I dismiss, right? Because with most conspiracies, you could easily kind of debunk them, again, with just basic facts and logic. But I do like to think about it, right, as a thought exercise. But notice how Piers characterized the song as a dedication to Nick Fuentes, when the song had nothing to do with Nick Fuentes. And he's only saying that because Nick Fuentes commented on it. And I'm assuming because she interviewed Nick Fuentes. But he characterized it as like some far-right dedication to Nick Fuentes. I mean, he just completely mischaracterized the song and who's associated with. And it's just, again, he's just acting like, again, establishment media here, right? Which, again, he is, okay? Again, and I'm not really surprised by it. It's just, you know, I find myself agreeing with him a lot when it comes to certain issues. But then again, when it comes to this type of stuff, it's like, bro, you're dropping the ball here.
You know, people think I'm part of the CIA. There's a whole conspiracy thing online. And, you know, I'm not for, like, silencing it either way. The point of the song isn't, like, I really have an opinion on the matter. It's more, I don't think we should ban people off of social media. So far so that I don't even, like, I think it should be illegal to ban anybody off of social media unless they're inciting violence.
Facts, right? I think so, too. Maybe not necessarily in the law, but I think that we should have a culture where we shame social media platforms for banning people off the platform just because of speech that, you know, people don't like or whatever, right? I think that regardless of whether or not you agree with the speech that's being banned, I think we should shame social media platforms that do ban the speech. Because, again, it's a double-edged sword, right? The pendulum always swings the other way. You know, too many people get banned off social media for things that we should be able to just openly discuss.
That was the point of the song. I'm not really, it was more like tongue-in-cheek.
But just to be clear, what are the conspiracy theories surrounding Hitler, which you feel, the more you hear them, the more you're interested in them?
Well, I don't know, because I can't hear them.
Huh?
I don't
you know the ones.
you
know the ones that Nick Fuentes.
Well, I wasn't even talking about Nick. I was thinking of Ye, to be honest. I don't know why they put that Nick was the inspiration for that song. I was thinking of Ye.
You are aware of the big backlash to this and the deep upset from the Jewish community.
I certainly am now. I just posted that song and I woke up and I was like, article. I was like, golly.
Right.
But doesn't that prove the point, right? The fact that people are outraged by a song where she's literally just singing about, why can't I talk about, you know, this conspiracies involving these people? Does that not prove the point? That actually proves the point that she's making in the song, right? The fact that you got people being outraged by something that's so silly.
But are you sorry?
Crazy. You know, I think that, like, my whole point was that cancel culture is wrong. I am not speaking one way or the other about the issues. My question is, why are we canceled for talking about certain topics?
So you would allow Holocaust deniers to have space on social media to promote Holocaust denial to millions of people? You have 2 million people who subscribe to your YouTube, right? That's a big audience
Well,
of people.
I'm not at 2 million yet. I'd like to be.
Right, but you have a lot of people that follow you on various social media platforms.
Yeah.
You put a video like that up, and there are going to be some impressionable young minds going, hang on, what's Pearl saying? Adolf Hitler? Not saying he's a good guy, but I want to know why. The more conspiracies theories I hear, the more I have to think about it.
But
I took that to mean that you agree with Fuentes and people like that.
Why did you cut off the end of the song? I said, but we can't even have the conversation.
What is the conversation you want to have?
Without being canceled by the left and the right. The point is any speech.
No,
I
Pearl,
think
it's not any speech.
speech.
It's not any speech. What is the conversation about Hitler and conspiracy theories and the Holocaust that you want to have?
I don't want to have any conversation. My lane is feminism. That's what
Well, you're singing about Adolf Hitler.
Can I finish?
Yeah, but you are singing about Hitler.
Okay.
So you do want to have that conversation.
I want anybody that wants to speak on social media to be able to speak about what they want to talk about.
Including Holocaust
without
denial.
getting banned. Whatever they want to talk about.
Including Holocaust denial.
If they want to talk about that, as long as they're not inciting violence, I think people...
Of course they're inciting violence. They're inciting a hatred of Jewish people.
Social media is the new town square, right? You used to be able to go and say your opinions in the town square. Now we have corporations censoring what can and cannot be said. And I think that's wrong. I think that should be illegal.
Well, let me bring in Brooke, who's been listening to this. Brooke, I don't think Pearl quite understands why the wording of this song, which she deleted, to be clear, so obviously realised this had not played out maybe the way she hoped. The offence it's caused to the Jewish community. Why was it so offensive?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for having me on and for highlighting this issue. Not necessarily highlighting Pearl, but highlighting the issue that what you pointed out is that we're really facing a crisis of societal conscience, where someone like Pearl, who engages in hate speech, and actually the irony is she's complaining about being canceled, and yet she's on your platform. She has millions of viewers on the internet and on social media, and she's complaining about being canceled. The crisis is that this is what is profitable now. This clickbait, this type of racial incitement is profitable on the internet. And I'm sitting here, I'm listening to Pearl. I don't know if she's just plain stupid or she's actually quite intelligent and knows that what she's doing is so sensational that it's going to make her a lot of money. But I want to say one thing, Pearl will disappear. She will disappear like many others before her, because this is something that's just a moment in time. She's like a train wreck. It's like a car crash. For example, you shouldn't be looking at it, but you can't take your eyes off it. But I want to make one more point. I think it's so important, especially on this platform. Hatred is taught. Nobody is born like this. And I talk about it a lot in my book about the dangers of hate education. And it's not something that we can debate, that we can engage in a rational argument with. You can see what her opinions are. She thinks women shouldn't vote, women shouldn't have the right to divorce. She thinks that women shouldn't be able to work. She says these
I didn't say
crazy
that.
things
Now you're putting words
about
in my
Hitler.
mouth.
But there's no rational, please don't interrupt. There's no rational argument with someone like this. And this is a mistake that my community makes, the Jewish community, very often, that they think they can bring facts to the table, that they can debate somebody like Pearl and it's, you're going to get somewhere. You're not going to get anywhere.
Wow. Wow. Now, again, the person that talks about incitement of hatred and all this other stuff, right? Literally just told Pearl she's going to disappear. Now, I'm not sure what Miss Goldstein means, right? When she tells Pearl that she's going to disappear. But I wouldn't blame Pearl if she took that as some type of threat, right? Like, how else are you supposed to take that? You're going to disappear, right? She says, Pearl's not canceled. She will disappear. Like, again, how does that make sense? Again, this woman is crazy. Like, it's funny how she talks about how Pearl makes money, which, again, some of the stuff might be true. I do think that Pearl, low-key, is saying a lot of the stuff that she's saying just as a way to rile people up and to get clicks and to be, like, as extreme as possible on certain issues because, that's the name of the game, right? I try not to do that, right? I try to be rational. Okay, I try to be an agreeable person. Okay, I don't try to just say crazy things for clicks. But I mean, regardless, I mean, this person is making money off of censoring people, right? That's an industry as well too. When you're out here writing books about hate speech to keep people from saying anything about your religion that you don't like, right? To me, that's just as bad as what you're claiming Pearl is doing, because what you're doing is that you're flat out censoring speech that you don't agree with, right? You're censoring speech because you got your feelings hurt, and clearly her feelings are hurt, right? I don't think I've ever heard Pearl say anything directly that's anti-Semitic about Jews or whatever, and clearly she's hurt, right? She's insulting Pearl. She's, accusing Pearl of being stupid, maybe, right? She's threatening Pearl, saying that she will disappear, right? I'm not sure exactly what that means, but to me, this person, you're no better, right? You're the other side of the coin, right? It's two sides of the coin. That's the person that says the extreme stuff for clicks and likes, and then that's the person that wants to ban anything that they don't agree with, right? Anything that triggers them, they want to ban it. To me, I think they're both really bad, right? I think they're both really bad, okay?
You're going to get somewhere only by shedding the light on this type of bigotry to expose someone like her.
Let me just
the crazy person that she is.
All right, bro. Let me go back to Pearl. Pearl, let me just offer you some advice, right?
Okay.
Because I don't think you're stupid. And in the 2 appearances you've made previously on this program, I thought it was interesting. It was controversial in some ways, but actually a lot of people would have agreed with some of the things you were saying. There's no question about that. But you seem to know where the line was. Someone like Nick Fuentes doesn't know where the line is. Someone like Kanye West, who I interviewed after he went on some weird anti-Semitic trope nonsense. Kanye's been wiped out by what he did, or what he said about the Jewish people, because there are certain things where I am absolutely in support of the concept of free speech, right?
Apparently not, right? Apparently you're not, okay? I'm just saying. Apparently you're not. It sounded to me, look who you're platforming. You're platforming somebody that quite literally is anti-free speech, right? And you're lecturing Pearl on a song in which, in my opinion, I don't see anything that she said that was necessarily offensive in this song. But then again, I'm not Jewish, so it's hard for me to say. She was just questioning, why can't we openly discuss certain topics, right? But I don't know.
But you can't go around telling Jewish people the Holocaust didn't happen as Fuentes.
That's
and people like Fuentes does say things like that.
But I'm not him. So you're bringing me up. So it's like,
no, but when you sing a song,
right,
and you talk about
who
Hitler,
determines what the line is, Piers?
Well,
apparently singing a song about why can't we talk about certain topics means that you agree with that topic, right? You agree with, I don't know, I guess he's trying to say she agrees with Holocaust denial, okay, because she wants to, I don't know, have an open conversation about that, okay? Again, Piers Morgan here, I think he's lost in the sauce, man.
Who determines? Do you get to determine it?
No,
Do you get to determine
I'm asking you to.
Who gets to determine what the line is?
I'm asking you to work out in your head.
I'm saying
you're not a stupid person.
The line.
When you say, I'm not saying Hitler was a good guy, but I want to know why. Right? When you talk about the more conspiracy theories about him I hear, the more I'm like, well, that's interesting. I'm just like agog that even now you don't seem to really grasp why singing that and releasing it to millions of people is incredibly offensive to Jewish people.
I think at the end of the day, Piers, I don't think it's for you to determine what speech should be allowed and not allowed.
No, what about you determining? Why did you delete it?
Why did I delete it?
Yeah.
Because it was just a headache, Piers.
Because you knew it was wrong?
I just think it's like, it's not the hill I'm trying to die on.
Right, but why did you choose that hill to die on?
I didn't choose this hill to die on.
You did. You released the video.
I also released 10 different videos about 10
but they're not
different
all
other
basically.
topics
But they're
that
not
day.
talking about Adolf Hitler, are they?
Are we not allowed to talk about him?
You can talk about Hitler right to the point you say the more conspiracy theories I hear about him.
Look, I think that anyone should be allowed to speak about any conspiracy theory on social media. That is my point. It's not about Hitler. It's not
If
about
you really
the Holocaust.
believed what you did wasn't wrong, you wouldn't have deleted it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Don't you think?
I agree with Pearl.
Go on, Brooke.
If I may just say one thing, as an attorney, I have to say that I do agree with her, that I am a free speech purist.
No, you're not. Right? No, you're not. Okay, that little monologue that she went on before this, you're not a free speech purist. Okay, you're a tyrant, right? An authoritarian.
I think that even bigotry should be able to be spoken in the public sphere. But the problem of cancel culture is not against anti-Jewish speech. I think that's very clear. We see the scourge of anti-Semitism and Jew hatred rising on the internet. The problem is that there's no consequences for it. And the way that private companies
How are there no consequences for it?
Canceling is they're going after pro-Jewish speech. They're going after pro-Israel speech. I can't tell you how many times I'm contacted by people, and often my own clients, who are shut down on social media for saying anything positive about Jewish people, about Judaism, or about Israel.
That's crazy. That's crazy. If what she was saying is true, Ben Shapiro would have a platform, right? Ben Shapiro wouldn't have a platform. Clearly, she's wrong. Kanye literally got canceled for what he said. I mean, the dude got erased, okay? Even on the free speech platform, X, right, formerly known as Twitter, Kanye was canceled. He just got put back on X, right? But Kanye was canceled. There's been so many people that have been canceled for being, quote-unquote, anti-Semitic. Look what happened to Kyrie. Look what happened to Kyrie. And dude was literally just tweeted out a documentary, right, that the media said was anti-Semitic, and they made this man seem like he was Hitler, right? Again, this person, she's not grounded in reality, but again, this is a authoritarian, right, who wants to ban any speech that she finds to be offensive, particularly about her religion, right? And again, she doesn't want any criticism, right? She doesn't want anybody say anything negative, okay? And just the fact that she clearly is not grounded in reality in regards to the current landscape when it comes to censorship tells you everything you need to know, right? If you say I support Palestine, she'll accuse you of anti-Semitism, right? And I'm not saying that I do. I'm just saying that if you say that, she would accuse you of being anti-Semitic. That would be her definition of hate speech, right? That's what she would define as hate speech.
Yet these social media companies are unequally applying their own standards. And, while they're, for example, shutting down COVID deniers, they are allowing Holocaust denial speech. They are allowing people like Pearl to spew her hatred. So if we are really free speech purists, and that's what we are saying that companies should do, they should allow all speech.
Yeah, I hear you. Listen, I would just say this.
Wow, she is delusional, right? That is just like not at all what's going on, okay? I mean, quite literally, it's actually the speech that typically aligns with people on the right that social media is unfairly or unjustly censoring, okay, over speech on the left, okay? Because again, you're allowed to come out and say all types of crazy stuff about whites, about police. You're allowed to say all types of crazy stuff about Republicans that if you said it about, Jewish people, right, they say it's hate, okay? You be erased from the platform. But you're totally allowed to say it about whites, okay? You're totally allowed to say about certain groups of people, right, that has been deemed okay, right, to talk about negatively. But again, when it comes to, other groups, you really got to beat around the bush, right? When it comes to certain groups of people. But again, she got it backwards, right? She got it backwards. She thinks that there's an unfair standard applied to people who say negative things about Jews, right? Where they're allowed to say what they want, and people who support Jews or support Israel or whatever, they get censored. And that's never happened. Like, nobody's ever been censored for supporting Israel, right? Or supporting Jews, okay? Nobody's ever been censored for saying that.
Unless it's incitement to immediate violence.
Right. I would say this to you, Pearl.
So we agree.
No,
Wow.
Pearl, I would say this to you in conclusion.
We're all on the same team now.
In conclusion, look, you deleted this, so you clearly felt bad about what you'd put up, or you wouldn't have deleted it. You accept that?
No.
You don't accept it?
I just, it's kind of a headache. I was like, well, it just seems like a lot of headache to me.
Right. Or did you realize actually in that moment from the visceral reaction from the Jewish community, you crossed a line that you yourself should have worked out was there.
Because she know what was going to come next, right? She know if she would have left it up and would have rolled with it, that would dash all her hopes and dreams, okay? Because I think she's trying to start a new network, okay? And leaving that up and facing that backlash and standing behind it, she would have got erased, right? She would have got erased, okay? And she knows that. And again, that's what that woman was telling her. You gonna disappear, right? You're gonna disappear. Why did she say that? Because she knows what happens. Look what happened to Kanye. He disappeared, right? He disappeared. And Pearl knows, all right, I don't want that to happen to me. It's not worth it. I'm gonna delete it. Happens.
Look, at the end of the day, Piers, the song was about freedom of speech. It wasn't one way or the other. The song was about why can't we have these conversations on social media, and why do I keep getting...
About why Hitler may be a good guy.
And why do I keep seeing people get banned on social media? My point is, I don't think there should be a line unless you are inciting violence.
Here's a line.
Piers, would we agree on that?
Listen,
yes or no? Yes or no? Would we agree?
Here's my point.
No? Yes?
You haven't
no?
answered my question.
Okay.
I'm not saying Hitler was a good guy, but I want to know why. I want to know why what?
We can't have the conversation without being canceled by the left and the right. I just don't understand why you guys added. You guys cut out the end of the song.
Paul,
you did 75. Okay.
The conversation about whether Hitler was a good guy. You want to have that conversation?
I think that
he murdered 12 million people,
my whole
including
point,
6 million Jewish people in the Holocaust.
My whole point is we should be able to have that conversation.
But whether he's a good guy?
Yes, because it causes more commotion when you're starting to censor people.
I don't agree.
I think that's wrong. I think it's wrong to censor anybody.
Well, you know what? You can have that conversation. You had that conversation. You posted it. You haven't been cancelled. I've had you on the show because I thought you might, with time, to think about this, regret what you did, because you can clearly, you're not stupid. You do understand the offence it caused. And wanting to have the right to debate whether Hitler's a good guy is just cretinous.
No, I want anybody to be able to speak on any platform. That was the point of the song.
All right, let's leave it
there.
there.
Can I point out a nuance here?
I've got Brooke, I'm sorry. I'm afraid we've run out of time, but thank you for coming on the program. I greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe Piers will have an Andrew Tate moment where, at first when he talked to Andrew Tate, he didn't really like Tate, and then he actually talked to him again, and then he likes Tate. Maybe he'll have that moment here with Pearl when it comes to this topic of free speech, but I doubt it, right? I don't know who Piers works for, but, hey, he does work for the establishment, so I doubt that he's going to come around to this one, considering the subject matter here. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.